Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Rhinebeck Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for March 15th, 2023. And did everybody get a chance to take a look at the minutes that were circulated? I did. You did not? You did not? Oh, my word. All right, that's okay. You're forgiven. I didn't see any mistakes or corrections or what have you. Anybody else have any corrections, concerns?
I thought it was good to go.
Okay. Then I will make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from the last meeting in February. Do I have a second? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay. So 1, 2, 3, we have a quorum pass. All right. We don't have any announcements. New business, and I apologize in advance for mispronouncing the applicant's name. Marie Shen. Is that?
Chandemont, yeah.
Shen, okay. Chandemont. All right, so, Mr. Belinsky, I believe you've been here before.
A few times.
Yes.
And this is Mike Terraport?
We met before?
Yes.
So you know what to do. Just please, just take us through the application, what you want to do, and we'll probably have some questions and take it away.
Okay, so I was actually retained to do a survey of the property in order to provide up-to-date detail for this board for the application. So the property is located on Primrose Hill Road, right here its intersection with Old Primrose Hill Road. Here's a location map right here. This is Acker Brook, right here. And then this is, let me see, right here, it was the last application that I was in front of the board for, Ruse, is actually located right there. So here's the property. Total parcel size is a little more than 11 acres, I believe. It's like 11.147 acres. And it's an application simply to construct a pool. And so, in front of this board. So, access off Primrose Hill Road, which is also Dutchess County Route 84. There's an existing driveway right here. The existing driveway goes to the principal residence located here. And then there's multiple structures. There's actually 3 other structures located on the property. This is a detached, and so in the principal residence, this is an attached garage, right? So in defining the principal residence, I also define the floor area for the principal residence, and that also the floor area related to the attached garage, which by Rhinebeck code is also, I believe it's an accessory structure. And then right here is a detached garage that was constructed. And then here is a machine shed that exists. And then this is a small, it's a greenhouse, isn't it?
Correct.
It's a greenhouse with some fencing around it. And so this application in front of the board is twofold for area variance. One, and so I wasn't part of this, but the zoning administrator made a determination that since this pool is the proposed pool is right here, it's a 20 by 50, correct? 20 by 50 pool right here. Its closest dimension to the front yard is actually, it's closer to the front yard than the principal residence, which drove this application to this board. And it's, you know, I guess it was also determined, even though this detached garage was already constructed, and this is actually farther from the front setback than the detached garage, it's still a requirement for this applicant to make application for area variance to this board. And so I can't read all the dimensions on here, but more.
Well,
I can see it.
okay.
No, it's not getting that far. So this is 140.6, 162.4 to the front property line. This is 128.6, principal residence is 220, and then this structure is 121.5. And so I believe because this actual greenhouse is less than 144 square feet, it's not defined as an
Right.
accessory structure. And so for each one of these items, I had listed the floor area for each one of the structures. And so in this case, the floor area for the accessory structures is in excess of the 1,500 square feet that is allowed in the zoning district, which is RC5 zoning district. So to just summarize, it's a application for area variance for accessory structure in the front yard of a principal residence, and then application for total floor area of accessory structure greater than the allowed 1,500 square feet. And this is all based on a recent survey that I did this month.
Okay, and you guys supplied a rendering of the pool that comes off of that garage?
That's correct. Oh, so one other thing for this board is that at this time, it's, eventually, this will be, in the future, this will be converted to a pool house, but it's not the intention to do it at this time.
That's the detached garage.
That's the detached garage.
Mark, do you happen to know, sorry, Catherine.
Will the footprint of the pool house be the same as the detached garage now?
It would be to use the existing structure as that.
Okay,
They're not planning on doing an expansion or anything like that to that.
okay, thank you.
Do you happen to know, because these are existing structures, and they are over 1,500, as you mentioned, was there a previous variance granted for it?
No.
Okay. It might have been, because I know there was a lot of, I think the garage looks like it was constructed in like 2007, and the zoning law changed, so it could have been there.
Yeah, that's exactly the case.
Yeah.
And so, and then all the measurements, the field measurements I took for all the structures matched what was on the parcel access.
Yeah.
So there was a building permit for this structure and a CO obtained for that structure.
And I did check, so the determination letter had mentioned for the second variance for the aggregate structures, it had mentioned, it had incorporated the pool as well in that calculation. But I spoke with Brian, the new zoning enforcement officer, sorry, Richard. And anyway, so it is still over 1,500, but it's reduced. So instead of it being 3,152, it's now 2,152. So the variance requested is 652.
Because it's not roofed.
It's not roofed or
I
enclosed.
didn't understand that, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, I spoke to Brian today, we discussed it a little bit, and he agreed, after looking at the zoning law again and the plans again, he agreed that that's how it should be.
This is staked out, I assume, or will be?
Yeah,
It is, okay.
the pool is.
Three of the four right now. I think one probably went down with the snowplow, since yesterday,
Right,
I was going to say. It will be back up.
What's there now, just the grass?
It's actually a gravel driveway here.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, if we go back to the site plan. See that right there? So it kind of, what it is this is lined up, so it's in line with the south line of the
Oh, I
detached
see.
garage. And so here's the gravel driveway portion of it is there. And then I also, I was involved in this, on this particular property in the early 2000s. Tim Lightfoot owned it, and so I did a septic design. So I had as-built information with regard to the location of the septic tank and the absorption field. And I note those offsets because they're actually important and critical for placement of a pool relative to an absorption field and all the applicable health department requirements in there.
Right, so it's just going to go over a part of the existing driveway. And then the existing garage would become a pool house.
Correct.
In the long haul.
Huh.
In the long haul, yes.
Are you gonna remove that section of the driveway, like plant it or anything?
Yes,
Yeah, they want to soften the space, really,
Right.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they like to soften that whole feel, and that's what it is. And really, when you,
So you're gonna cut it off,
like,
right as it comes in straight, kind of?
yeah, they want to clip it there. I mean, it might end up with a short turnaround in here or
Right.
something like that, just for ease from the garage space backing out, but clip it off. That would-
Questions, concerns?
So there's 3 buildings already closer to the road than the main house, is that right?
Well, there's 2 that apply. The one up top doesn't apply because there was a
Greenhouse?
change in the law. Yeah, that happened, what, maybe 5 years ago, something like that?
No,
They reduced
that's this one.
Okay, one.
Right, but this one right here doesn't
Doesn't count.
count as an accessory structure due to the area.
Yeah.
So it is a structure, but it's not an accessory
Yeah.
structure because it's less than 144 square
Oh, I
feet.
see.
It would have about 5 years ago, or whatever it was, when they changed the law.
Right.
But do you need 3 variances to kind of take care of those other 2 that were already closer?
I think that because they're existing structures and they're not part of this application, that it could have been grandfathered in, because like it's, there was a big zoning change in 2009, which is after these structures were done, so I don't know what the zoning law was at the time, but since they're not part of this application, I don't think we need to be concerned with it at this time. I do agree that the aggregate structure should be included, because if it's going to be a pool house anyway, it's going to have the variance because it's a change of use.
Right. I just remember sometimes it seems like we specifically state some things that are being grandfathered in and other times.
So, yeah, so the zoning law does allow for certain things to be grandfathered in, mainly, I think dealing with the setbacks sometimes, or maybe not setbacks, or building lots, or
Mhm.
acreages usually is
Right.
something. But when there's a change to the use of the buildings, then it kind of has to become conforming.
Okay.
Questions, concerns?
No.
It's not a big change and, or a complex application, so I think it's complete as far as I'm concerned. As my
And it
board
should,
members.
there's a bunch of trees or screening that's,
This, yeah, I can show
I think I have
a tree
actually,
line, maybe you can see it on the aerial,
yeah, I think I have an area,
right?
sorry.
Yeah, so there's the residence right there, so here's, right, right in there, there's the detached garage here.
So there's nobody around there.
the way it is from the profile from the road, really, when like, say where the future pool's gonna be, when you look out, you wouldn't see that from the road just with it, because it's a heavy bedrock run there between the house and the road.
Right.
So it's a natural where the rock wants to cascade off towards where the pool's gonna be out.
Oh, I had a quick question too, for the design of the pool, when, it says here lights, those are inside the pool, right? Just want to make sure they work over.
No,
Yeah, and we'll do a site inspection, so we'll get to see the topography and how that works. Okay, at this time, I'd make an application, or make a motion that we accept the application as complete. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Did you want any further rendering, Scott?
I don't know, I mean, I think this is,
I think we need it.
yeah, I think this is probably okay. I mean, I know it's one, I usually ask for more.
You're gonna have a fence around there? Do you need
Oh,
one?
you're gonna have to. All right, you know what, that's probably a good idea. Why don't we have, we're gonna accept the application as complete, subject to a rendering showing the fencing around would be good. And also, if you're able to give a different perspective, I know we're face on to the garage,
Mhm.
you know, old, pool house in the future, but maybe as it sits with the rest of the other, buildings too, that might be good.
You can't see the pool from the road,
No.
but you will be able to see the fence, probably.
I think you'd have to be into the, I'm gonna call it the driveway proper by the time you see the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you can give us a couple of perspectives, but certainly give us a perspective on the railing, that would be good.
We also, this is just from Google Earth today. This kind of, this is just from Google, so you can see just the trees and stuff. It was all like that too.
And that structure there is not there anymore. That was when Teddy used to sell his birdhouses there when he owned that yet. So that one's not on Mark's stuff because it's not existing anymore, but it is definitely nestled in there.
Okay, thank you. When's our next, meeting in April? April 18th.
19.
19th. Are you able to be here on April 19th?
Yes.
Tim will be. Oh, that's right, I forgot. Anyway. Okay, so, Tim, if you can get
Mike,
us.
that's all right.
Mike, all right. If you can get.
It was a previous owner. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you were. Yes, I'll be here.
If you can be here, if you can get us the additional renderings.
Absolutely.
And what will happen is that the neighbors will be notified about this application, and you'll give the same presentation. You'll be asked questions maybe that people attend, and perhaps some more questions from us.
Absolutely.
And that's the way the format goes. So we'll see you here on April 19th.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
And so this should be a type 2 action.
Right.
For an accessory structure to a residential home such as a swimming pool.
Such as 617.5C12.
That's it.
All right. Shall I make a motion that we consider to be a type 2 action under secret pursuant to section 617.5C12?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. And then it looks like we have some referrals, actually just a referral to the planning board.
Just to the planning board.
Yeah, that's easy. And who would like? Aha, Catherine has volunteered.
And I'll make a note for that.
So Catherine will take it. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Okay, so the next one that's up is Riverside Auto Body. Hello again.
Hi. Grace was here last time because I already had a ZBA meeting that night, so she took that one for me. I'm Nancy Forrest, I'm with Global Signs, ENS Group, and we're representing Northside Auto Body. And basically what we would like to do, and it will require the variances, is to keep the existing sign and the existing foundation. The sign was originally designed for its distance from the road, speed of traffic, and the size of the lettering to be read from a distance as you're coming down the road. That section of 9, unlike when you get closer to the village, little bit faster traffic. It's the type of business, it's not a retail business, so they're not looking for that type of interest. People that are coming to Northside are coming, they have an appointment. They're bringing their car there. The one thing you want people to do is to be able to clearly see it from enough of a distance to be able to signal and turn in safely. The setback has changed since that sign was there, but given the hedges and the way it's set up there, we'd like to leave it there. We feel that it's plenty of distance off the road. I'm sure you're all familiar with it. The height, as I said, is to give you a view from a little bit further down the highway so that you can signal and turn in. Everything's in good shape there. The cabinet is great. It's going to be externally lit from there down. So the height and setback and the square footage is right for the location and for the business. The only thing, if it would make the town happier, is instead of having the lighting pole, you don't see it from the hedge down, but from there up, we could do some type of a build out around that to make it more of a column instead of a steel pole. But I believe height-wise, we're very close to what Williams has at this time as well, but theirs is on 2 poles.
Right, and then what I was gonna suggest to you is, and I understand it's basically the same sign that Riker
Yeah.
had there forever.
Just
And
two
just changing it,
faces.
yeah, just changing it. And we've done this in the past with other signs in the area, is to give us some information about other signs in the area, height, size, distance from the roadway. Because part of our deliberation is that it comports with the rest of the neighborhood, so to speak, which I'm sure it does, but giving us information that we can put into a
And
resolution.
photos and,
Photos, and then
With
and
the
just,
heights
and
and
some heights and measurements, and give us that information. And we could insert into a resolution to justify, it makes it easier.
okay,
Right.
and that would be brought to the next meeting?
Correct, yes.
If you
we
could get it
could-
before the meeting, that would be even better, just so that way, when we schedule a public hearing, the public has the ability to look at that information too.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's something we kind of standardly do in this corridor, because no sign conforms. You know, this is not a first rodeo with these kind of signs in the
Right,
city.
Right.
So, but it just makes it easier, so.
When you said that the setback changing means like the required setback, but the sign itself is the same location as Riker was?
Yes, yes, it's the exact same thing, the same box, the same pole, the same foundation.
Is the
all
lighting
in
the
the
same as
order.
well, or is it that the lighting's different?
It will be lighting from above, but I'm not sure if we're going to leave that lighting bar that kind of stands out on the angle, or if we are going to build one right at the top of the box that shines down and doesn't stick out on arms.
And that's existing, that's from Riker.
Yes. Yes, ours would be a little bit cleaner looking and close up to the sign.
It would be facing down regardless of?
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, down lighting. It almost looks like at the tops across the sign like an upside down gutter.
Yeah.
So it's attached to the sign and it flushes down the sign, not angled out and then shining in.
Will you have a determination as to what that will be, whether you're going to do that, what it's gonna look like? Because
Yes,
that's important as well.
I think what I'd like to do is, I'd like to do that to show the lighting, and I'll do a side of it, because right now they're showing it with the arms out. I will show that, and I'd also like to show maybe a nicer base covering the pole,
And if you
more attractive than a steel.
Yeah, and if it's possible to show how the lighting would appear, I know it's a rendering.
A night shot.
A night shot, exactly,
Mhm.
just to.
Sure. You do that?
I'm sure it's gonna be an improvement on that, but we would just like to see that for our consideration.
Okay.
So if you can have it before the next meeting, that would be great too.
Yes, that gives me plenty of time to have that done and send it. Gretchen, are you Gretchen? Yes. We've talked many times. To send it to you?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think I asked Grace this, but the lighting it wouldn't be on like 24 hours, or it would be,
That we always leave up to the board if it's not written in your ordinance. A lot of the towns now are putting it right in their ordinance that the sign goes off at like 11 PM unless you are open through the night.
So-
So whatever you put on it is what it will be.
okay, so I have to review the zoning law, but even if north side is closed, say at 6, at 7, the light could still be on?
Right. We would want to leave it on, for a decent amount of time, but it doesn't have to be on forever.
What's it currently, up till about 10, something like that?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's on, but most towns and villages now are doing a time limit. Like I said, unless you're a gas station with a convenience store or something like that, that's open 24 hours. But if they put on 10 or 11, whatever the town determines, that'll be That'll be what they will do. The condition set by the town.
Any questions?
I don't understand where is there a problem with the post that it's on? I mean,
There isn't a problem with it. It's just that it could be made to look nicer if you do a base around it.
You mean make
Instead
it
of
even
just a pole
wider?
coming up like this.
You make it wider and thicker?
Yeah, not much.
Um,
I mean, that's up to you. It makes it a little bit cleaner, nicer look, but.
I mean, the road is on the other side of the hedges,
Mhm.
so basically you're only seeing above the hedges to the sign
Right.
of a green post that basically fades into the greenery. I think,
it could be.
You'd like it better left just as a
you
pole.
think what?
I think it could be more problematic being more
Oh,
substantial.
I would say that would be a terrible thing to make it wider and make it more.
I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with traffic. It's just a more attractive visual, but that's,
Are you talking something that's gonna go all the way up or just at the base?
no, from the base right up to the bottom. And I don't mean, the big, just.
I guess the other thing is that we really need to know exactly what you're proposing, so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask the board their feelings on that
Yeah.
before I did that, so I can show both ways. I'll show it with the light, the way we're gonna have it on this pole with a night shot. And then I'll show the other one with the aluminum structured base with a framework inside it. And you can determine what you prefer.
They wouldn't count that as sign surface, would they? Or
No,
does it
it's
have
based on
Yeah.
when they talk about the space, it's the face of the sign. The only thing that would possibly impact would be the height, but it's not gonna change the height, so
No,
that's not,
no.
that shouldn't be a problem. I can double check to make, I know that sometimes the sign regulations have certain requirements for building materials. I can double check that. What would the revised pole be made of?
It would just be a covering around that
Oh,
to look like a column, and it would be a heavy gauge aluminum,
okay.
probably in the black, just a matte black, just as the face is gonna be on the sign.
I'll just check, I think again, most of the requirements are basically about the face of the sign, but I'll just double check just to make sure there's not an issue.
Yeah, as I said, it won't be large, it'll just be encompassing that pole.
So you're basically
We'll
gonna
do it
give
both
us,
ways.
you're gonna give us two alternatives to look at.
Yes, along with the night shot and the
Along with the
light.
night shot.
Give us the way you prefer it, in one speed, and give us,
A backup, I
give
always
us
come with a
the
backup.
way you think we would like it.
I've been coming in front of you actually for 45 years, so yeah, I always pretty much have a backup. But it's good to have the initial meeting like this to get to talk to you and find out other things that you want to see. And then it gives me the opportunity to have them made and sent to you and reviewed before the next meeting.
One thing that I would like to request, this doesn't impact the presentation or the proposal, but in the application that you submitted, the figures that you had provided don't match up with the site plan. And I can provide, these were the numbers I can show you.
I
real quick.
hope you will, because we were going back and forth, that got a little confusing. My last letter, what's his name? I think he's gone now, right?
Michael.
Michael's gone now?
Well, he's
Or
he's
not,
on the
not
plan-
doing this,
he's on
yeah,
the
my
plan.
last letter from him was off what we had done too, so if you could provide me
Yeah,
that.
and then if you wouldn't mind just providing just like a little amendment to the application, just so that the record just has everything.
For the right height,
Yes,
Right.
the height is actually fine, the height and the setbacks are fine, it's more of the calculations for this face of the sign, but I'll provide you those.
oh, okay.
Like, I think you have it that the variance requested was like 11.7
No,
square
that's
feet.
what I had gotten with him, that was confusing because it's not just that sign, it's taking into account the sign on the building.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what, I'll send it to Gretchen, And then
Okay, great.
I'll provide the calculations that I did.
All right, and then I'll do the
Yeah, just as a
amendment.
quick amendment, just even like a quick addendum to it is fine, just so
Okay.
that the records are straight.
Okay, no problem.
Right, anything else? Yeah?
No.
Yeah? Good, okay. All right, then, at this time, I would make a motion that we accept the application subject to you providing the additional information that's been requested, and we will get those numbers squared out. They're not really far off. Kim and I actually talked about it,
Yeah.
but we just want to
Make
be
sure it's
precise, because, right, you know, a variance requires precision.
correct. Okay.
So, and I'm not saying it's your fault, it's just we just want to get it right, so,
Not a
and we'll
problem.
make that amended. Can you make it on the 19th of April?
Absolutely.
Okay, and if you could provide that information sooner than later, that gives us a chance to digest it.
Okay.
And as you know, since you've been doing this for one or 2 years,
I actually retired 7 years ago. Just didn't do it right.
you know, but you may or may not have neighbors here or businesses or whatever. So I ask you questions about the application, you may have some more questions
Right.
about the application, so.
Okay,
All righty,
very good.
questions?
Okay, no.
All right, great,
All right,
thank you very
See you
much.
on the 19th. Thank you.
See you on the 19th, thank you.
I second it.
So this one will also be type 2 action under seeker.
617.5C, 22.
22, yeah.
Is that what you're
for,
suggesting?
traffic control For street signs,
Okay.
essentially.
And would you like me to make a motion
Yes,
along those
please.
lines? Okay, at this time, I'd make a motion that we classify this application under secret as a type 2 under section 617.5C22. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. Okay, and the planning board obviously gets to see this, and because it's on a roadway,
Yeah, it's
It's
because it's a
state.
non-residential,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a commercial use on a state
Dutchess-
roadway, so it needs to go to
Dutchess
Dutchess
County.
County
Yeah.
Planning Board.
all right. Hi, Richard.
Would you like to do the
Would
resolution?
you like to do the
I
resolution?
need, Catherine, yeah, sure, I'll do that,
Not that I'm,
with the help of my friends.
right, well, I'm not forcing you into it.
Yes, you are. All right.
I have 2 to do at this point, so feel it. All right. And that brings us to the public hearing on Maitland, so you know what to do, just come on up and do the application. And do we have anybody here on the Maitland matter?
We have nothing to report this time.
Okay.
Are you-
You're representing the applicant?
Yes.
Okay, so what we need you to do is to kind of go through what you went through was the last time around, because this is a public hearing, and I would make a motion at this point in time that we open the public hearing. And so you get up and present exactly what is being sought here. And do we have people in the audience? Are you folks here for the Maitland thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so the way this thing works is that the applicant or their representatives will go through the application, and once they are done with that, you have every opportunity to ask whatever questions you have about the application. And what I'd ask you to do is, when you do that, come on up, state your name, your address, and then just ask the applicant whatever questions you have about the application. Pretty simple. Don't be nervous. Okay. All right. So if you could just take us through the application, what's being proposed, and,
Okay. This, oh,
Very good, yeah.
well, it sort of works in sort of
Yeah.
all points. Yes.
Okay.
This application has to do with an old house. We start with River Road, Echo Road. It's an existing house with a porch. It is on a hill, and there's some walkway here, and there's an existing garage called a garage. I don't know why it's called a garage, because there's no floor in it, and it's not being used at all. There's a pool in this location here. It's not finished, but it's in that location, and this is a driveway to the property. The owner wanted to increase the size of the house. There are 2 bedrooms in the house. One of them, the 2 bedrooms that are about 9 by 9 feet, and on the 3rd floor, and 1 bedroom on the other side, and they just don't accommodate guests at all. So the owner, that's on the 3rd floor. On the 2nd floor, there's a living room and dining room. On the lowest level, which is really the cellar, is the kitchen. The owner wanted to put a bedroom on a master bedroom on this addition, coming off the 2nd floor, and below that, to put a dining room. Because right now, to go from the kitchen to this dining room, you have to go up a set of stairs. It's wanted to have the dining room and the kitchen on the same floor. In addition, you want to have a pool house connected to the pool. That's why it's located where it is. And in addition, there would be stairs coming up the 2nd floor. And at this time, we're showing a garage structure for tractor and stuff. That's part of the discussion why we may come back.
Do you want me to go another?
Okay, this is a better drawing. This shows the kitchen in this location. This is a mechanical room. These walls are all stone walls with no openings in them. And this is a new dining room. And a bathroom is in this little location right here. We're going to take that out because you can't really use it as a bathroom, and put it in this location here. On the other side is the pool. This is the pool room. There's a bathroom here and a multi-purpose space on this side. There would be an entry here coming in, going up a set of stairs. On this side would be the equipment for the pool and the equipment for this building. These are the garage spaces, and this would go on the tractor pool. This is the 2nd floor of this building. You come up the stairs about here. This is her office. I clarified that the office is for one person, really, not for a bunch of people. This drawing is mislabeled assistant's office. There would be one person in the building, this is for her space, and she will use it to keep records and things like that. On this side is the music room, where she and her partner conduct music, write music and stuff like that. This is a mechanical space to get some ductwork up the ceiling, and this is a bathroom. On the house side, this is the stair going up. You arrive at this point, and there's a closet, a bathroom, and the bedroom. This is the 3rd floor of the house, showing these bedrooms. The bed in this room goes to about here. You can barely get into the bed at that point. So the idea is to take this wall out in this and have 2 existing bedrooms on the old house. These are the elevations. This shows the existing house here. The dining room in here and bedrooms on the top floor. This is there's going to be a fence around the pool. This shows the fence. The doors at this point opening up, showing being able to open the pool room to the pool. Doors going to the bathroom and the room. And this is the office for the owner. These are just other elevations. This is the existing house with the kitchen and the bedroom in it. This is looking at from the driveway, the tractor barn, and her office space here. And this is looking at the section cut between the new building and the old building. This is looking at the dining room and the little porch entry going into the dining room. This is looking at the garage part of the building, showing garage doors, tractor barn, and there will be, not in this application, but future application, we're planning on putting solar panels on this side of the roof. This is the other side of the building. This is the garage, the office, and the music room, and entry into that space. And these are photographs of existing site. This was taken before the pool was in. The pool is now in, but it's not functional as a pool yet.
Did you have a,
I had a couple of questions on the elevation drawings.
Sure.
Aren't the garage doors on the west side?
These doors?
Yeah, when you go back to where we're looking at this, don't you? Oh, no, okay. I see
They're
what
on
you're
the east
doing.
side.
I see what you're doing, they're on the east side, okay. And the height of the new building seems excessively high. It's almost as high as the top of the house, which the 2 stories are on top of that rise.
Yes. The client has to have a 12-foot ceiling in this space here. So that's a 12-foot ceiling.
Why do you have to have a 12-foot ceiling there?
Because she wants to have it be a grand space, grand pool room space. And her office also has a 12-foot ceiling.
That's interesting, okay.
There were, okay, going further, there were
Yeah,
also some renderings that, and I appreciate the renderings that were provided, that might be helpful for the folks in the audience as well as the board. And then I also had some questions to what's happened at the planning
I
board.
don't, do I have to mention
A couple of things have happened since
Okay.
we designed this. First of all, the client now is renting space in the village for her business. So that the second floor office, her office area will be reduced. We are talking right now about taking this. One of her considerations is removing this entire piece on the end.
We can't see.
You
Okay.
can't see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, why don't you guys come up to the first row?
Do you have the clicker?
Yeah.
So,
Don't be shy.
one of the considerations, one of the considerations is to take this off entirely. Another possible consideration is that we take this off entirely. So that there are 2 additional rooms up there, music rooms. We're now talking to her, she's considering, because of what you all say, we're now considering making this much smaller.
So I guess what I'm getting at right now is, I think this is premature to a degree, because the application sounds like it's going to change
Yes,
dramatically.
yes,
And I would note for the record that we've received input from the planning board, which does not recommend this application because of the size,
as it's currently
as it's currently proposed.
Yes.
And the CAB, or Conservation Advisory Board, likewise does not recommend this application as it's currently proposed.
Right,
So if what you're doing is going to be reducing down the application,
yes,
this is almost moot, because we should be considering the new application,
right,
which hopefully will be much reduced in size.
yes,
So it's much reduced in variance requests.
Yes,
And perhaps you should either withdraw this and then come back to us with a new plan.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably the best way to go,
That's
because it sounds like a lot of stuff is gonna
a lot
happen
of stuff
here.
is changing.
Yeah, I would suggest that because I know, I was at the planning board meeting, I know they had raised some concerns, and they didn't accept the application at the planning board due to some questions about what it's being used for, but, I think for now, since members of the public did come, I think it would be beneficial for them to
Oh,
voice their
absolutely.
concerns. And
Absolutely.
You guys can hear what some concerns
Oh, I
are,
would love
and
to.
you can be able to incorporate those.
I would love to, that would be
But,
great.
I would think that if there's going to be substantial changes, I probably providing, withdrawing this just so that there's no confusion,
Right,
and then submitting whatever the latest revised one is would be
Right.
probably best, but.
And with that said, I think that's a very good point. We have the neighbors here.
would love to
So
hear.
we want to hear what they have
Yes.
to say, so that'll help you form a new application.
Yes,
Hopefully more agreeable to the neighbors.
Yes.
So I think,
Do you want me to go to the microphone?
oh yeah,
Sure.
so
Want
is
to sit
there
down?
anything else you guys want
No, no, no.
to say, or?
Well, also, the other neighbor also,
She emailed it at 7:20.
she sent it to me and I sent it to you.
Okay, so if you want to read those into the record for her?
Oh, okay,
I mean, because otherwise technically they won't go into the record because they came
okay.
after the meeting.
After, yeah.
No,
Um,
well, the public hearing is going to be kept open or withdrawn,
Yeah.
so they can.
Right,
they
so
can
it's
be accepted.
gonna change too,
Yeah,
so that's
anything
up
that's
to
been
you.
submitted in writing will be accepted to the record.
It's just, it might be beneficial for them if there's whatever comments there were.
We can always
Right,
provide,
right, no,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
yeah, you can either
I
say
can
that,
forward them.
we can forward them to, they're part of
Okay.
the public record.
Okay.
So, sir, can you please state your name and your address and your
My
concern?
name is Paul Antonello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, and I am 70 Oak Brook Road, which is the
So
west.
we are officially opening the public.
Did we officially open the public hearing?
You
Oh.
I made a motion to,
But you
No,
did
no
it
other motion.
in the beginning.
Hmm?
He did it at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Well, there was no other motion, that's why I was like, I didn't know if it was,
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
there was only a Scott's motion. There wasn't a second.
so can we get a second?
Sorry.
All in favor?
Straight here.
Aye. Opposed? Don't you dare.
Aye.
Okay, the public hearing is open.
Very good.
Hi, so this is our western view here, and there's been some confusion about the property line. This is an old survey, it doesn't even have the right name on it, and I would really like to see a survey and the property line markers, because there's a row of pine trees, and that's not the property line. The property line is about 25 feet east of those pine trees. And the parcel that we're talking about is 1.8 acres. And quite honestly, I'm really not interested in any more variances on this, because there was a variance granted for this pool, with the setback and all that, and I'm not comfortable with this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I have a question.
Sure.
When you said the line of pine trees is,
If you could put a picture up of the
Yeah, I think we
trees,
have one. I think we do have one.
it's, so somebody was talking about the idea that
oh, there you
the
go.
pine trees
Yeah.
are, that's not the property line.
Yeah.
That's
It's what
20,
Yeah.
it's 20, her driveway, and it's about 4 feet off the driveway is the actual property line.
So is the
So it's a lot of
yellow-
confusion where,
Is the yellow line here the property line?
I don't know. I need a survey that has, you know, we need a real survey here. And whatever the drawings were done, it's not an accurate survey.
But-
And so we don't even know if the first variance for the pool is actually accurate. That's just my concern.
But I guess to make sure that's in compliance.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and you'll come up and.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
just like
To make
we
sure
know
the
first.
pool is actually in compliance, we don't even know, because there's no markers. But we'd like to see up-to-date survey with markers put down. But this row of trees,
is on your property.
it's about 25 feet on the property.
Right.
So I'm really nervous about setbacks and stuff, because we're not even talking about the right parcel here.
Well, do you have a survey of your property?
I do, yeah, but she should have one too.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they're
yeah.
using one that's not accurate, so, I mean, I have a marker right off the driveway which shows, but there were supposed to be markers put up, and I don't know what happened to them.
Well, the markers, I think, were just for where the pool was going to be at the time.
Well, they had put a string of markers, but they've disappeared. There were markers there, they're no longer there.
You mean, property boundary markers?
Yes, there were.
Uh-huh.
Because there's pool construction stuff and a giant pine tree that got knocked down on our property. And, you know, I want to see a real survey with real drawings and not guesswork that the pine trees are the property line. That's not the case here. And I have real concerns about this. I'm not happy. So, anyway, thank you.
Thank you. And would you like to come on up and state your name and address and your concerns?
Yeah. I mean,
Come on
they're
up.
similar to my husband's, but, hi, I'm Loretta O'Neill. I also own 7 Neighborhood Road. And we were just, and I guess, one of the biggest things was the size of this project was really shocking, considering the size of the lot and considering in keeping with like the rural character of our community, we don't want to cover all of our properties, you know, with buildings. That's absolutely not what we want to see. With that said, if it's going to be changed, that's great, and we welcome that, you know. But we're also, you know, when the pool variance was granted, we also had a variance on the other side of our property, which we said fine too. So now there's 2 variances on either side of our property. That was for a pool as well. But when this pool at 636 was granted, it was the understanding, and I think it was the understanding of this board, that they would not be looking for further variances. I believe that was stated.
Well, I think I may have actually written that resolution. I know it went out there.
Yeah.
There was silence. There was no indication that any of this would happen. I actually had a concern about why this whole project wasn't put out, you know, instead of being piecemeal, put it out all together.
Right.
Because the only thing was the pool, and I actually pulled that resolution. But you can come back for different variances. There's no prohibition, but it was silent. There was no indication that anything else was going to be done. That's my recollection, other than putting in that pool.
Right.
I also don't remember that there was a statement made, we're not coming ever.
Right, no, that's true. It was silent.
Yeah, yeah, so
Yeah.
there wasn't a promise made, like, oh,
Yeah.
this
Right,
is the
and
only
we're
thing.
not
Right.
looking for a promise or anything like that. It just seems that like this doesn't fit, and, you know, so, and also, I think to the effect of what Paul was saying, I think that there is a survey. I think that just maybe some of the people involved weren't aware of where the line is. So I think that could be.
Well, I would certainly like to have that survey.
Sure.
It's a big concern, and
Yeah.
it's important, and it should be part of the record.
And, you know, and with something this size, it's also like, for us, it's the lighting, it's the traffic, it's the noise. I know the neighbors feel the same, you know, she wrote in, but we've spoken to them. So there's a lot of things, you know. It's a cute spot right there. It's nice, it's pretty, but, yeah. So that's it.
Thank you. Sir? Give it that.
I'm the chauffeur.
You're the chauffeur. Chauffeurs are allowed to speak. And again, I've been on this board for about 20 years. It is 20 years. And I don't think I've ever seen a situation where the planning board and the conservation advisory board have both recommended not granting the variances. So that should tell you something, and certainly with the strong opposition of the neighbors, I think. I'm not telling you what to do.
I think we're on the right track.
The right track is to withdraw the application
Yes.
and get back to the drawing board and come back with something substantially smaller. And that happens. And that's why we do these things. And it is a small parcel, and
What
so.
do we do about getting a survey? What's the best way to
Get a surveyor.
just hire a surveyor? We can hire a surveyor.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, the
of course.
applicant, yeah,
Right.
sure.
Okay,
There's plenty of good surveyors in the area.
okay.
And that's, but the size, and by the way, I do appreciate these renderings that you
That's okay.
provided, which were great. And this is what we're gonna need again when you come back to us
Yes.
with a
Different-
smaller application.
Right,
But this is what we look for,
okay.
because it shows us, you know, how the thing is gonna fit on the property, so to speak. I don't know if any of you folks have seen these things. Are these part of the record? These are part of the record, right?
Are they part of the ZBA or the planning board?
Both.
Okay.
I think I included it on.
I don't know if you guys
Okay.
wanted
I
to
might
take a
have-
look at these, even though this is for this application now. But we'll want that again, obviously. So I leave it to you folks as to what you want to do. I can make a motion to continue the public hearing as being open,
Mhm.
and then you can decide what you want to do.
Perfect.
That's probably the best thing, instead of putting you on the spot.
Yeah, that way it keeps it open, you know,
Yeah.
and it just for the ZBA's purpose, it doesn't start any clock for when.
Correct.
Scott, one, not
Sure,
sure.
absolutely.
You know, there was a discrepancy on the size of this parcel at the very, very beginning when they said it was
Yeah, parcel
bigger than it
access.
was, but the tax map said it was small, you know, 0.2 smaller. Remember that? And
Oh, yeah, actually, the survey, so they did provide an old survey, I don't know the date on it.
Yeah, we thought that discrepancy was on the north side.
yeah, we thought it was on the right.
Because this is the survey from,
Boundary was included for pine trees. I always thought it was inside.
What day is that?
Right, but how far
I'm trying to
inside?
find it.
I
It looks-
planted those Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, no.
1998.
Well,
It's
you
2021?
didn't plant them on the wrong property, did you?
No,
That's what- I don't know,
They're well over.
that
they're
may be
well
what
over the
you-
property line.
That might not be
Where
the
is it
survey
higher?
was wrong.
Right.
I think the original number was 2.2 acres, and this is 1.8,
Right, yeah.
so we wanted to go with the 1.8 because that was what was on the survey.
And we were hired after the pool went in.
But do you know the date of the survey that you were using?
Well, it says, it says here, you know, it does say here 2021, but I don't know if that's,
Over Mr. Campbell.
yeah.
Oh, Campbell?
I just don't know if
That is
that's,
a recent survey.
I didn't know if that was working off an old one, or if this is a new one that was drawn recently.
Given the controversy, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. So I'm not telling you what to do, is to get a fresh survey.
But does this survey from 2021 have those pine trees
It doesn't show.
in
Well, it
that?
doesn't show
It
any
doesn't show?
landscaping.
Well, it's come,
I mean, it looks kind of like it's, you know, it runs along a straight line, where the pine trees aren't straight, but.
When they put the flags in, they put them in the right spot on the side of the pine trees. They
Oh, they
did,
did.
like, they marked it.
Do you
Okay.
And there's
remember
an
when they
iron
marked
pole.
it?
Yeah,
Was
Was it around 2021?
Yeah, I would say 20, 21.
they know that it's that way.
Right, so that may be accurate, is what you're saying.
I think
Is it
it
actually-
is, but I think it's an old survey because it doesn't really have,
It wasn't actually,
Although it looks, so what I'm looking at here, when it says certified, so here it says certified to Wendy Matlin, First American Title Insurance Company, Integrity Land Services. This tells me that whenever Wendy purchased the property, this survey was probably purchased with it, because that means that because when they certified to the title company and to the title agents, my guess is that if she purchased it in 2021, which I'm not sure if she did, this probably was a result
Yeah.
of that.
Yes, sir.
I would like if we could have a survey with the actual measurement from the road to the markers, so we can actually see and measure physically what's going
You
on in
mean
that.
from pole to pole?
From
Like,
pole, yeah, from the
where they
road
put
all the way
the strip?
past the pool, so we know. So that actually has numbers on it, and there's
Well,
markers.
Yeah,
Distance.
I mean,
Distance.
if you, some of them are on here, the POC. Not on that side, but, oh, well, here's something, 456,
We have a scale.
Yeah, I think that's an old survey.
Well, you can check on that to see whether it's an old survey or not. I'd be surprised that a survey was not done when she purchased the property and accurate one was done at that point in time.
What was
Satisfy
the
the
date on
title
that
company.
survey now?
It was 2021.
Is that when she purchased the property? Do we
That's
know?
what I'm told.
Uh,
So,
uh,
dollars to donuts, I bet you that an accurate survey was done to appease the title
Yeah.
folks in 2021.
So that just has to be used for the plan, is what, the measurements on the survey would have to be used for the architectural drawings
Of course,
and the
yeah.
plans. That's,
The real issue here is, and as said by the planning board and CAB and by us, is that this is way too big, given the parcel. We understand what wants to be done, but it's very large given the size of the.
there's a scale mentioned on there, 1 to 40. Yep. And then I think the other question from the planning board was also just making sure the use was allowed. I know you've indicated that it's going to be just one, but just, I know there was some discussion with the planning board, if you were changing your narrative, or changing the
We can
people.
do that, we can do that.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Have we had enough?
It's also going to
Yeah.
pre-conference, just so you know, it's going back to pre-conference.
No, and this is what this is all about. And by the way, I just want to say to everybody has been civil, and I appreciate that greatly. I usually give a spiel at the beginning of these things, when I think it's going to be contentious, and I appreciate everybody voicing their opinions, which are strong and justified, but in a civil way. And that's the way we like things, so thank you very much. So, are there any other questions or concerns? I think you folks know what you need to do.
Yes.
Come back to us. So what I will do at this point in time is I'll make a motion that we keep the public hearing open and wait to hear from you folks as to what you want to do, whether you want to withdraw this application and then submit a new one,
Yes.
which seems to make no sense, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. We'll put it on for April 19th. Do I have a second, by the way, as far as keeping the, I don't want to,
Yes.
a second
That
for,
came from Gretchen, by the way.
I know, she's a troublemaker. Do I have a
It's
second?
raining on the rails, so.
I know, well, I get loose sometimes. So, do I have a second on keeping the public hearing open?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. So I think we'll wait to hear from you folks, hopefully before the 19th, either be here at the 19th or make your decision.
Yeah, we'll talk to Gretchen.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question?
Sure, absolutely.
If this is gonna change substantially, I mean, I don't think you can come back to our public hearing with new stuff that we haven't seen.
No, they can come back, we're not gonna,
Wouldn't we have to
we'll be
start
going
all-
through-
Wouldn't we have to start all over anyway?
we have to start all over, that's why I'm encouraging a withdrawal and then come back, because the application that
We accept-
might have a possibility of being approved is gonna be substantially smaller than what we have before us.
Change all of
Excuse
the,
me?
all the paperwork changes then.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's the easiest thing, is just to withdraw and come back. We're here every third Wednesday, so,
We'll let you know.
okay.
So, but if they withdraw and come back, then the public hearing is not really
Well,
It would, well, the
I'll
public
close it.
hearing, yeah, it wouldn't even need, if they withdraw it, we'll just make the announcement that it's been
Yeah.
withdrawn, and then
Right,
it's
and then
just
wait
off
for the new
agenda.
application and
Right.
go through the whole process again. It happens,
Yeah, it does.
especially in Rhine Cliff. Anyway, thank you very, everybody for, tonight. And I think we have no old business.
The only thing I want to mention, for the Whitman application, so at the February meeting, the public hearing is closed. Typically, we have 62 days to issue a resolution, which usually would be at tonight's meeting. But the applicant had requested that it be postponed because she's still going through the planning board process. She doesn't want the variances to be expired within a year.
Right?
So I would just recommend, Gretchen, maybe you and I can work together to just ask Ms. Whitman to just formally put it in writing.
I did.
You know,
I spoke with her today,
okay,
and she's
perfect.
probably gonna ask for it to go till June.
Okay, that's fine, just to.
So I told her
Because
she's
it can
gonna
always,
build
yeah.
something written,
Right.
requesting
Yeah, just something
that
for the
it
record,
goes.
it has, you know, as you know, the 62 days can be extended by mutual consent. She had indicated it verbally at the last meeting, but something on record is better for the file to have. All right, perfect. That's the only old business I have.
Okay, great. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.